Welcome to Direct Approach, a bi-weekly podcast hosted by Wayne Moorehead, filled with timely insights, fresh perspectives, and actionable takeaways from your direct selling executive peers to help fuel the growth and evolution of your business. What if the key to unlocking massive growth in direct selling wasn't more people or more products, but smarter technology? In this episode, Wayne is joined by Gareth Hooper, Chief Information Officer at Sunrider International, for a candid conversation on how AI is revolutionizing direct selling. With over 20 years of experience leading digital transformation, Gareth shares how Sunrider is leveraging AI-powered tools to enhance customer experience, optimize sales, and equip independent business owners with smarter, more effective strategies. If you're looking for ways to stay ahead of the curve and future-proof your business, this is one episode you can't afford to miss. But before we begin, we'd like to thank this episode's sponsor, Exigo. Tired of struggling with outdated systems and inflated technical debt? Are you losing time and money on staff or software inefficiencies? Exigo can help. Our all-in-one platform as a service simplifies everything from commissions to reporting to e-commerce. With Exigo, you can finally focus on growing your business, not managing it. Don't let technical headaches hold you back. Visit exigo.com and discover how Exigo can transform your MLM company. Now let's welcome your host, Wayne Moorehead, and his guest, Gareth Hooper.
Hello and welcome to another episode of DSN's Direct Approach podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Moorehead, and today's guest has over 20 years of success leveraging cutting-edge technology to drive sales, reduce costs, and improve efficiencies across organizations. He's led these efforts at some of the most dynamic companies inside and outside of the channel, including one of my favorite, most nostalgic brands. I'm excited to welcome Gareth Hooper, Chief Information Officer at Sunrider International. Gareth, thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Wayne. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I am as well. You've had such an incredible career, led technology efforts that have been so transformative for so many companies. And as you know better than anybody, nothing is transforming our businesses and how we work faster than AI. And it's interesting. It seems like in the last 12 months, we've gone from conversations of what AI might do, can do in the future, to what AI is doing today. So I'm excited to dig in. But before we get there, again, your background is so interesting to me. Do you mind sharing the story of how you found your way into direct selling?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So technically, I actually started in direct sales when I was 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My mum was an Avon rep back in the day, and my sister and I used to help her with that business. So we used to take the catalogs, post them through the front door of people's houses, and then go back there a couple of days later and ask them if they had an Avon order. And that Avon money, as my mum called it, was paid for my BMX bike and some of our vacations and things like that. So I really started there and kind of learned the impact of direct sales there. Now, interestingly enough, from the field side, my wife is actually in direct sales. She's been in direct sales for 15 years. Now, from the corporate side, I've been in direct sales, like I say, over 20 years. Various different companies, sizes, large and small. And I'm very thankful to be at Sunrider. Great brand. Love being here. Been here for about 4 years now.
Oh, that's great. I also grew up with direct selling products in my house, not even realizing it. Some brands that we're all very familiar with. And it is amazing, whether we realize it or not, we're all connected to direct selling in some really meaningful ways. But great story, and amazing having your wife and family members involved as well. It gives incredible perspective for all of us at the corporate side. Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, I've literally lost count how many mixers and business opportunities meetings I've had at our house. So yeah, very, very experienced on both the corporate and the field side.
That's great. Well, I am excited to learn from you about AI. It's been an enormous initiative and push at the company that I'm currently at. I know it has been for all of our companies. Can you help kind of set the table for us as we move into this and give us a picture of where we're even at with generative AI and machine learning as it relates to business and direct selling specifically?
Yeah. I think a lot of companies are using generative AI or Gen AI. and machine learning, really to help with employee productivity, things like that right now. So generating or writing content, proofreading, summarizing documents. On the IT side, we're already using it to write code. About 30% of our code is written by AI now. We use AI to create test cases. HR and customer service use it for automation. So really, a large part of it is for employee productivity. Now, recently, I believe we're really at that tipping point where more and more companies are now going to be using Gen AI to build, rich and feature-rich customer applications, customer-facing applications, and I think we're seeing that more in our industry now.
That's great. And I think one of the main misconceptions that I think is going to help set the table, and I know it's something that you're really passionate about, is around kind of AI and who owns AI. As you mentioned, it doesn't just sit in one world. It's not just an IT initiative, but again, even as a CIO of a large company, you're very passionate that that's not necessarily the case. Can you expound on this a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. So I think AI, the AI initiative, really should be really respected and handled the same as any other major initiative. So whether you're doing a big website replatform, a mobile app, a big Oracle ERP rollout, I think it needs to be respected that way and treated that way, rather than a kind of a side IT project. So I really think it needs to have very clear objectives about what you're trying to achieve with the Gen AI, and then also making sure that everyone knows their roles and responsibilities in that, and that's well defined.
And how have you seen it work most effectively, as it can impact and be utilized by so many different functions? Is it still helpful to have kind of a centralized overview from IT to make sure that these are all working together, that a certain function, like for example, marketing, isn't going rogue off into one direction, but it's still kind of being housed in a cohesive strategy?
I think it's hard to think of an area, when you think about generative AI, that won't be enhanced, using AI. So we're already seeing like sales and marketing. I'll talk about security in a minute. We're already using Gen AI for content generation. Like I say, IT's already using it for code and test cases, and we're already seeing some more intelligent assistance with customer experience and things like that. But I think once the Gen AI actually reliably can use a web browser, and eventually it'll be able to use a PC as well, it's hard to see which areas won't be impacted with AI and enhanced with AI. So I think it's really important to think about the security of it. So one of the things there's a lot of concern around is, if I use ChatGPT, will my user interactions with my data that I upload, will it end up in training data, and theoretically, will it become public? Now, when you use generative AI, and when you build your own applications, you use an API to connect to the LLM. I'll just refer to it as the AI engine, just LLM, just to make sure people understand. And when you use it via APIs, it doesn't store any data. Okay, it doesn't store any data at all. So you don't have to worry as far as APIs are concerned. Now, when you use the website like ChatGPT, Claude 3, things like that, the website interacts with the AI in the back end, and does it for you. Any data and user interactions that you do, any data you upload, or any kind of questions and answers and things you have it do, theoretically could end up as training data in future AI models, and although unlikely, could potentially become public. So it's important to look at the plans you're using. So if you're on a personal plan, that's where you can your data can, in theory, be used for training models in the future. But if you're on a business plan, they basically prevent that. They exclude that from being included in training data. So when it comes to cohesive, you'd really need at the corporate level kind of an AI use policy. that you have your employees, guides your employees on what they can and can't use generative AI for. So, for example, definitely don't upload any. I mean, some of this is common sense, but don't upload any PII, any passwords. But in the past, you've seen some companies, perhaps they've uploaded some proprietary information. So you don't want to upload, vast amounts of code or product formulations and things like that. So really, I think from a corporate perspective, it's really making sure you've got your kind of AI appropriate use policy in place and ensure your employees assign it and understand what's expected of them.
Thank you. That's really helpful. I know that's one of the hesitancies with certain companies adopting some of these tools is around that security specifically. Again, not wanting proprietary information. They're helping out other companies or other initiatives. And I really appreciate you mentioning the role of, or the importance of kind of creating that alignment internally. I'm curious, as you consider the independent business owner or distributor perspective, what role do they play in these initiatives and how do you align effectively with them?
Yeah, I think they're very important. We use at Sunrider, I'm not the most inventive with the names, but we just call it the IT focus group. And that's full of, not full of, but we have about 12 IBOs there, some leaders, some the people that are really doing the business, So it's not just the high end, been in the business a long time IBOs, but also the new up and comers as well. And really what we do with them is to understand, get their feedback, what are their business challenges, how can we make it better, brainstorm new ideas. We generally demo new features and applications to them as well. And ideally, we have them actually train the field, okay? Because so for example, at convention last year, I had one of our focus group members come up on stage and talk about how she uses the mobile app for her day-to-day business and how it's improved her business. And getting trained from one of their own, so to speak, adds a lot more credibility than someone like me, going up there and training.
I really appreciate you helping set the table. I know that helps me a lot as we dig in now specifically to some of the initiatives you've done at Sunrider. You've taken a very impressive, very comprehensive approach to AI. You're well down the path to seeing real business results, and I'm excited to learn more about that. So let's start with the shopping experience. Can you tell us a little bit about what Sunrider's doing specifically in relation to your AI shopping assistant?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I'm happy to talk about that. So really the use case was Sunrider has 200 different products in various different categories, whether it be supplements, functional foods, skincare, cosmetics, and even housewares. And the feedback we got was really customers didn't know where to start and really needed to have products recommended to them by an IBO, which can be problematic if that's the only way really that they're really able to select products. So really what we did was to create the AI shopping assistant to help answer all of those types of questions, any product related questions, any recommendations, things like that. So for example, someone could ask, what products do you have to help with sleep? If I'm already taking Quinary, for example, an existing products, what other products should I take for general wellness? I'm taking this, I'm using this skincare, I'm using that skincare. What's the best time of day to take each one? What's the difference between New Plus and New Plus Original? The questions like that. And really the analogy I use is for this first version, because we wanted to launch something that was achievable, because we started this literally in January of last year, and then we launched it in April. And the analogy I use is really just you walk into the store, you walk up to the counter, you ask a question, you get a response. We didn't want to get too crazy ambitious. We just wanted to make sure we can deliver that use case. Now, since launching, the IBOs love it. In fact, even employees use it. Actually, I use it, and other employees use it because like I said, we have so many products that you forget what some of them do, and you have to look it up. Now, it wasn't when we implemented the shopping assistant, it wasn't without its challenges. So I'll give a story here. So one of our product spotlights one month was Veros. Okay, and Veros is a male supplement, helps with energy and things like that. And so, I typed it in. What does Veros do? Told me, and it also said you may also like libido enhancer and another product. And I'm like, whoa, I'm really surprised Sunrider would have a product called libido enhancer. Okay, so I called up Deb, our CMO, and said, I'm full of surprises here. I didn't realize we had a product called libido enhancer. She goes, no, we don't. Okay, I was like, oh my god. Okay, so we quickly took it down, and that's what's called a hallucination. It's really it's making up facts. And so we address that by basically, well, not to get too technical, but basically asking it very, very specific information on each product it's going to recommend, even if the question didn't ask for that. That way, it's more grounded and reduces or hopefully eliminates the hallucinations. So that's really what our AI shopping assistant does.
That's really interesting. I'm curious, is that more typical early in a launch? Does it begin to learn, or is it more input output as you put more specific information in? It helps to refine some of the answers and recommendations.
It's a great question. Yeah, really good. It's the latter. So it doesn't learn because really the LLM or the AI engine, as I refer to it as, when you give it information, you give it instructions on how you want to how you want the answer. You want it concise, that sort of thing. You also send it the questions, send it the chat history up to that point, so it knows if it's a first-time question or follow-on question, and then you send it, like you say, send it the relevant data as well, and then it makes the. So it doesn't actually learn as it goes on, but you, as the developer, learn what it needs to be able to answer your questions without hallucinating.
Oh, that's really interesting, and good to know, and an important consideration with launching, that it's not kind of launch and move on, that it needs kind of continual monitoring, just to make sure that everything gets dialed in. That's really interesting.
Yeah. In fact, let me shortchange you here. And then also you have to do this for each language you support as well. And for Sunrider, that's literally 17. And some of those languages can be a little interesting, like Hebrew, Hungarian, the ones that are less supported or you hear less of. Those are some interesting hallucinations, and of course, it's the local country people have to test it, because obviously we can't test it in a language we don't understand. And so there's been quite a lot of that. And so like I say, really just being extremely specific, being very deliberate about the data you're giving it, to ensure it doesn't hallucinate.
Thank you for that. It's amazing the impact from product discovery and recommendations, just the impact that it can have on sales, from average order value, lifetime value, the ability to kind of cross and upsell based on real usage, real interest, real attachment rates. I think that's fascinating. I'm curious also, from the shopping assistant, beyond discovery and recommendations, does it help from a speed of completion? Like, does it help kind of skip some of the steps, or that is what kind of the discovery and recommendations, once you enhance that, it's going to make the whole process easier and faster?
Yeah, it's the latter. Yeah, so it's really in this version, and I'll tell you about a future version we're going to be doing this year. But in the original version that we launched last year, it's really just ask questions and, like I say, narrow down, get the products, make the recommendations, get the products in the cart. And really doesn't help with speed, unless it's the discovery, as you're saying, it narrows that down, but it doesn't actually accelerate any of the checkout or anything like that.
So one of the other really powerful tools that you've implemented that specifically assists the independent business owners is around the reporting assistant, your AI reporting assistant. Can you share some of the pretty amazing things that it can help do?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I've always IT people like to think we always launch things that are easy to use, but we don't. And so we like to think it's easy to use. So we have our back office. It has the standard reports in there. So we like to think that's easy to use. And sometimes with IBOs, it's hard to make everyone happy. There's always some data that they're looking for that they can't actually get to. And so we actually have the ability for them to create their own reports already. So they have 46, not that anyone really should do this, but there's 46 different data points they can create their own reports. So we thought we were well covered on getting data. But the feedback, and perhaps predictably, the feedback is that the reports are still complicated and they don't understand them, and especially with our older IBOs. So really, the use case for the AI reporting assistant was really just have the ability to answer any question asked of you using the IBOs, only that IBO's downline data. So that was the use case. Now, one of the things also in the complexity is that sometimes if you have quite an interesting need, you might have to download the data from the reports and slice and dice it into Excel and things like that. So again, we wanted the reporting assistant to be able to not require the IBO to do that. So once we launched it, so you can ask it as complicated a question as possible. And in fact, I've tried to make this thing get confused, and I've been extremely impressed with what it can actually do. So I wouldn't even say this is the most complicated question, but you can ask it, for example, out of my new customers from the last 3 months who orders skincare, who lives within 50 miles of Dallas? Now, why you will ask that, I don't know, but you can ask it very complex questions. And so we're really happy with the way it responds. Now, it does take a while, like 20 seconds, depending on the complexity of the question. So that's one thing we're going to improve this year, is to be able to speed it up. But it's well received, and when you use it on the mobile app, we people to just use like the talk to text functions on on a phone that's there already, and just talk the question in, and it'll answer for it there. So really well received, and in fact, it even gives you insights that you never even asked for. So I've been really impressed with it, and that was actually. And what was interesting is that while that sounds complicated, the AI reporting assistant was a lot easier to implement than the actual shopping assistant.
No, that is really powerful. And it's so interesting, just our frame of reference when you talk about 20 seconds being long for a report. I think we all know how often our independent business owners or brand partners struggle to find the reports and the information that they need. So even taking what's probably, oftentimes 10, 15, 20 minutes sometimes down to 20 seconds is absolutely incredible.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
So so send the message to your team. Don't sell themselves short. 20 seconds is pretty amazing.
We're trying to get it down even quicker. It just feels like it's forever. Okay, so that's right. And basically the AI consumes data differently to other things. I'm not to get down to the weeds. So there's some things we can do to improve the speed.
Yeah. So continuing with the IBO perspective, can you share more about Sunrider's AI coach?
Yes. So this is really, when we launched the shopping assistant, we had to integrate the content. When we launched the AI reporting assistant, we had to integrate the order and customer data. And once we got those two integrations done, we could then, the real destination was this AI coach. Now we refer to it as my IPAs, income producing activities. Okay, now I did not coin that phrase. That I think that income producing activities is kind of a term, a phrase used within our industry. So we that's what we call it. And really the feedback we got from our IBOs, especially the newer ones, was, can you tell me what I need to do to run my business? Okay, and can you just give it to me? And just literally, like a checklist. So literally the AI coach is a kind of a checklist, a to-do list that just literally lists the most impactful activities they can do right now in the order of the most impactful first. Now, it's not just generic. It doesn't just say, for example, go look up go into the reports, look up whose rewards are about to expire and reach out to them. No, it's very specific on their data. So, Jane Smith's rewards are about to expire. She has $30 in free products. Her contact information is this, and her email address is this. And you can, especially from a phone, literally go in there and make a call or send a text. So like I say, it's really specific and, like I say, prioritized. Now the IBO can mark the IPA complete. They can discard it. They can snooze it 24 hours. And we have I'm estimating we have about 70% of our IPAs that an existing IBO would do. That's in the system already. And then we also have IPAs, kind of onboarding IPAs for new IBOs. So, one of the things we tell people is as soon as you enroll as an IPA, download the app and just go through the IPAs and just literally one after the other. And what was actually surprising to me is that we have a very large percentage of our IBOs actually using these IPAs at least weekly, and so it's been really, really good, really successful, and we're going to enhance it even further.
It's amazing the impact it can have when you take a lot of the guesswork out. Onboarding, getting people up to speed. Leaders, a lot of times they've gone through enough rounds that they understand what they need to be doing next, but there are so many within our organizations that need that extra help. Can be overwhelmed at times, but having something literally just tee up for you, hey, these are some of the things that you need to be doing to continue to grow your business is incredibly, incredibly powerful. Any other AI related, machine learning related that are currently in place before maybe we shift to some of the things that are in process now?
Yeah, we do use machine learning for predictions. So right now we're using kind of a churn predictor. So who has placed? We're basically predicting who has placed their last order. So churn, and we want to know within about 60 days of their last order. Otherwise, telling me 2 years or 6 months, 9 months, that someone placed their last order, 9 months before isn't really helpful because they're not. It's hard to save them when they're that far gone. So really, what we try to do is to ensure that we've got our predictions within 60 days of their last order. We go for 80% accuracy. So in these predictions, you can tighten up the accuracy, but that does reduce your pool. So we kind of know that the sweet spot is it's about 80%. When we do have these predictions, we deliver it as an IPA in the AI coach. Now that's what we have today, and it is definitely worth doing. It is. I'm not saying it sets the world on fire, with 50% growth or anything, but it's definitely worth doing. We're also looking at doing predictions on upselling after the order's placed. So, for example, if a customer's bought XYZ, looking at doing the cart analysis and things like that, and recommending kind of upsell to reach out to the customer as well. We haven't started that yet, and then we're also looking at predicting which customers are good candidates to upgrade to an IBO as well. But again, we haven't started that. That'll be this year.
Oh, that's really interesting. So with some of these predictive data points, especially around churn and retention, I'm curious, does that information trigger a campaign or some marketing automation from corporate, or does it go more to a notification to the brand partner to say, hey, FYI, there's a likelihood that this person may drop off, so please reach out to them?
Yeah, it goes in as an IPA right now, and probably we should be doing more of that on the on the corporate campaign side. But right now, it's an IPA. And we also have to be, especially when you start out, you've got to be careful how many of those types of IPAs you put in. If you're thinking you work in the business and then you get 25 of those in 1 week, that's not the most motivating, thing.
Sure.
And so we don't say, we predict, ABC is not going to order again. We just kind of suggest they reach out and check in.
And you mentioned the attachment rates. If somebody buys product A, they're 60% likelihood of buying product B and C. It's incredible now where that used to be such manual, especially in the D2C world, such manual processes, to now have it just notify and automatically understand. That's a really powerful tool.
Are you ready to revolutionize the way your direct selling company accesses industry insights? Introducing the DSN Library's Smart Search, an AI-powered tool that puts over 2,000 curated assets at your fingertips. From compensation trends to emerging markets, answers are just a click away. If you're already a DSN supporter, then you have access to Smart Search right now. If not, it's time to check out our updated program for 2025. Starting at just $1,000 per month, your entire company can get access to the channel's most comprehensive collection of education and insights available. Visit directsellingnews.com/supporter to see a demo of Smart Search in action and to learn how your company can become a supporter now. We also invite you to join us for the annual DSN Global Celebration and Spring DSU March 25th through 27th at the Irving Convention Center in Irving, Texas. From insights to action, this is the event that powers the future of direct selling. Visit dsnevents.com today for details.
You mentioned some of the things that are in the works. I'd love to shift to learning a little bit more around some of the future AI initiatives there at Sunrider.
Yeah, sure. So the first one we're working on this year, and I'm not sure we're going to call it this, but what I'm referring to it now is this really an AI assisted shopping experience. So we're still going to keep the traditional shopping experience the way it is. So you can go there, check out the categories, use the filters, product description page, all that kind of thing, what I would consider traditional shopping experience. But we're also going to add, like I say, the AI assisted shopping, which is really engaging the customer conversationally. So, if they click on that and they bring it up, it's going to ask them, why are you here today? And give us some suggestions like, are you here for weight loss, sleep products, things like that. And then it's really going to walk them through the product selection process, answer any questions they have, handle any objections perhaps. But also it's going to try and upsell them on other products as well. It's going to make them aware of if they're close to hitting a rewards tier or a new rewards tier. So if you're within, $15 of earning another $10 in free product, they probably want to know that. Close to earning a promotion or qualifying for a promotion such as free shipping or other things like that. So really, that's what we're looking to do. And then once we've got the products in the cart, because again, from the conversation, from the AI assisted experience, it will add them to the cart, and then they will then be handed off to the traditional checkout and check out that way. Now, the analogy I use is, unfortunately, I can only think of a male one, but if you ever go into a men's warehouse, you walk in through the door and you're like, oh my God, I have no idea where to start. I don't know what areas I need. I don't know the fabric. I don't know what looks good on me or whatever. And you can't get 10 feet within the store without someone coming up to you and saying, why are you here today? And then you have that conversation. Well, hey, I'm looking for a suit. I'm going to be, I'm looking for a kind of an evening suit, or maybe it's during the day. And you start to have that conversation. And then before you know it, you go in there for one suit and you leave there with one suit, one blazer, 3 shirts, 2 ties, and a pair of shoes you didn't know you wanted. And so that whole shopping experience is something where we're trying to. That's the analogy I use about what we're trying to achieve with the AI assisted shopping experience.
I love that because that enhances many of the superpowers that we have within direct selling. That guided, that personalized experience. Where as our companies continue to scale, not every IBO is able to handhold everybody within their organization, but to be able to leverage these technologies to keep that personalization, that really guided approach is something that, again, I just think reinforces everything that's special about direct selling for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what about the AI coach? I know that there's some enhancements that are coming down the pike.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, sure. I should have gone on to that.
No, that's great.
So the vision, now whether we could achieve the vision is another thing. But the vision would be, can we help the IBO with every part of running their business that doesn't require human interaction? So at least today, that doesn't include making phone calls, Zoom calls, face-to-face meetings, things like that. But can it help with everything else? So one of the things we're going to be doing is continuing to add IPAs, perhaps based on other machine learning predictions, for upselling, like I talked about. So we're going to continue to add IPAs. We're going to explore, I'm not sure we're going to be able to do it this year, but we're going to look and see if we're going to allow the IBO to create their own IPAs. Okay, not sure if that's the best idea, but we're going to look into see if that's possible. Now, you could argue that I should have done this already. From the messaging side, in the example I told you about how, Fred Smith, rewards are about to expire, $30 worth of free products. Here's the contact information. We don't help them with the messaging. So when they click it, they have to type their own message in. So we're going to be giving them a selection of suggested, messages, communication. We're very likely to just give them the ability to copy and paste some of their own messages so we can mimic the style. So in an ideal world, you'd be able to look at your IPA, go, yep, click, yep, use that message, done, send, and make it so much easier on our IBOs. And then the other thing we're going to be doing with our AI coach is better handling of the app notifications. So today we do use the app notifications to let them know that they have outstanding IPAs. However, we don't really follow up during the day. So if you look in the morning and just discard it, it's really, you don't get reminded again. And we want to definitely make sure we do that and continue to remind them, especially for the high priority IPAs as well.
So you mentioned the app. Can you share a little bit more about the AI features and how it's driving effectiveness within the app?
Well, yeah, we try to have parity between the AI tools that are on the website, are also on the app. And one thing we're trying to do with the app this year is use the app to encourage and remind customers to reorder or even upsell. And right now, we really don't give them a reason to download our app. Yes, there's a shopping experience on the app, but they can do that on the website. They can do that on their phone just by going to the website. So we're going to be adding some features to give them a reason to download the app, such as meal tracking. Now, with things like meal tracking, we may add some features where you can take a photo and it would estimate how many calories are in it and things like that. I mean, you could do that with ChatGPT today. Literally just take a photo and ask it to calculate the calories. And I don't know if it's even accurate, but at least it will do it. And so maybe some features there where people might feel like, oh, wow, I'm going to be tracking water intake, exercise tracking as well. And then we may do some kind of before and after kind of analysis. And so for our skincare line, take a before photo of your face. We do some analysis on it. Maybe after a month of using maybe 3 months of using our skincare, then do a comparison, things like that. But that's just potential for this year. So really, it's a case of just giving our customers a reason to download the app, giving them some value out there, and then gives us the ability to be able to try and upsell, reorder, that kind of thing.
Really powerful tools for us and the brand partners as well. So very impressive what Sunrider, what you have already done at the company. I know there's some really exciting things on the future. I'm curious to shift into learning a little bit more from you about the key insights, the key takeaways, where some of the landmines might be. And one of the questions that always comes up, and it's genuinely a concern for many executives, is this about replacing jobs or is this about enhancing jobs? I think that's one of the discussions that definitely strikes a nerve with some people. Where do you feel, and how do you feel this is going to impact us organizationally and from a headcount perspective?
Yeah. Thank you for that loaded question. So for sure, it will enhance productivity, for sure, especially once the AI is able to use a web browser. I mean, just think about how often employees use the tools they use today. So I do think it was definitely going to enhance and make them more productive. As much as I hate to say it, I suspect, I'm not saying there's going to be layoffs, but perhaps you don't, where you might have needed 8 people, maybe now because they're using AI, maybe you only need 6. So I do think it will make companies more efficient, and their headcount will reflect that. Yeah.
So you're saying it's time for me to start updating my resume? Is that what we're saying?
No. If you actually look at the surveys, it's actually there's certain things I don't see AI really yes, that they are allegedly creative, and yes, you can get it to write something and make up stories, but I really don't see it anytime soon kind of replacing marketing people and salespeople. I think it's important. You're not going to have an AI reach out to the field and things like that. The sales team is really important. And then from an IT perspective, there's just more and more demand for IT, for more applications, more enhancements and things like that. So I don't see that happening. I think if you're not already using AI for your productivity gains, I think you really need to be. And I don't really see it. I see more demand for IT. I don't see less.
Yeah, it's definitely going to enhance all of our functions and effectiveness throughout. I can't think of an organization that's not going to be impacted by these incredible tools. So where should companies start? So you talked about if someone's not using AI, definitely start jumping in now, but where should we start? What are some of the key areas that we as companies should be looking at to begin if we haven't already?
Yeah. So when it comes to customers and IBOs, those kind of forward-facing tools, I think because companies are already using it for product for employee productivity. So when it comes to creating your own tools and applications that your IBOs and customers would use, I think it's important to start with something along the lines of a shopping assistant, and there's the reason we started there. Because you're going to have to integrate with your content, okay, and I think that's a good place to start. It's an easy use cases to understand. The benefits are really quite obvious. You can get yourself a little bit of a preview of what it would look like by going say to ChatGPT that most people use. Take your product catalog. You probably got it in a PDF. Upload it and say, tell me what you understand about our products. I'm looking for a product for sleep, and have it answer based on your PDF, your product PDF. And you get a reasonable preview, and anything you build will be even better than that. So I think it's important to start there with the content, integrating with the content. Second thing is you really are going to want to get access to customer and on order data, but you have to do it in a way that that ensures. So when you feed it data, you also want to make sure it's only that IBO's data, and customer data. So I think integrating with order and customer data is important again, and that's actually easier than it sounds. Okay, so once you've got those 2 integrations, anything else is just incremental. It's like we really didn't do any other integrations when we did our AI coach. And then once you've got a lot of that, you can use it for employee tools as well. I don't have the most inventive names, so we have our employee reporting assistant, which accesses the data in our data warehouse. So that way, our IT people don't have to do these ad hoc reports. The AI would do it. So I think you start there. Is integrate with your content, integrate with your order and customer data. And I think anything extra will just be, incremental and bigger features. If that makes sense.
It does. Yeah. Thank you for that. And I know you've really advocated for taking a very strategic approach to AI. It's not just the tools, but it really needs a seat kind of at the strategy table and to have a realistic phased rollout. Can you talk about the role that it plays within the strategy and maybe how to roll it out effectively?
The way I would suggest is that, usually you have your strategy meetings, whether it's quarterly or annually, and you know your targets for your sales targets for the year, your profitability targets for the year. I'm sure you come up with your business initiatives, what it takes to get that to reach those targets. And once you know your business initiatives, you can then look at how is that AI, how can I use AI in those business initiatives? Perhaps it's, to improve the conversion rate. You're going to be bringing in new customers in from a certain channel, and you want to make sure you can put them on your website. Where can AI help with that? Such as the AI assisted shopping experience, things like that. So I think once you know your business initiatives, you can understand how AI can help you achieve those initiatives. Then I think it becomes part of everyone's objectives. So Sunrider, for example, we know that there's not Gareth, the CIO, gets this. Okay, it's everyone gets these same objectives. So everyone's responsible for delivering. And delivering their part. So, for example, sales and marketing are responsible for training and promoting the new AI tools. Customer service is responsible for supporting it. IT is obviously responsible for implementing it, and legal are responsible for ensuring it's compliant around the world. And that's quite an interesting, the compliance side is an interesting evolving landscape there as well.
What do you feel are kind of the main primary challenges and things to look out for when approaching AI and rolling it out within the company into the field?
I don't think we've ever had any resistance because it's an AI tool. Anyone's gone, oh well, I better not use it then. I've not had any instance, I've never received any feedback from the field. I think the field will receive it positively. Now, when you start to implement, I think from the IT side, it's, oh man, how do I start? And it just seems so daunting, and you have to understand all these new things about how, RAG, how you get data into the AI and things like that. I think it's just important to work with a partner, that's done it before. Make sure you check their references. So there's a lot of people that claim. I mean, I probably exaggerating here, but 3 or 4 email a day from these different vendors who claim to be these experts in AI that can help me, help implement these tools. And really, I would just concentrate on the partners that or just ask around in our industry and who are you working with, who can actually do this work for us. And once they start, like I say, once you've got the integration done for your content, once you've got the integration done for your order and customer data, okay, anything incremental, anything you build upon is really not going to take as much effort because the foundation is in place. Does that answer your question?
It does, yeah. And has the feedback been really positive from the field for their business and internally as well? Are people, internally at corporate kind of finally seeing and realizing the impact that this can have?
Yeah, we got a lot of good feedback in terms. Like I say, the actual employees use the AI reporting. The AI shopping assistant, and we even call it AI. So we don't just call it shopping assistant. We actually call it AI. And so from a field perspective, like I say, no caution when using it. So I do think employees see it, and I think the field as well. They understand its value. Like I say, I just think the biggest challenge really kind of right now is actually coming up with new ideas of how you can improve things, and really just following companies and people that are really good in this space.
So as you look out over the next 3 to 5 years as it relates to AI and machine learning, what are you most excited about?
It's amazing how far we've come, and it's hard to think what it will be like in 3 to 5 years. I just can't imagine at this pace. I do think I'm not even sure I can answer that way. To be honest with you, I can tell you this year, we'll have generative AI, whether it be Claude or Google or OpenAI. I mean, I really do believe they'll be using a web browser reliably. And when I say reliably, I mean without mistakes, because AI, at least the earlier versions used to be notorious. You're notorious for not being consistent. So if it's reliably using a web browser, I mean, it's amazing. Just think, what if you could just train anyone to use a web browser? I mean, what could they do? I mean, what would they? How productive? Can you think of all the tedious reports and things like that you would end up doing and being able to automate? Now, from a new feature, I mean, I imagine, and we already saw it with the studios and the writers and the actors and going on strike and things like that, trying to get things in their contracts to, basically cover them in the event that the AI starts to create, actual movies and things like that. And you're already seeing it. It's not very good right now. So I think there's some. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what some of those AI applications do, but right now you can literally type in text and create a video. Now it's not very good, okay, and you can't upload a photo and go right, create a video of that. But I imagine that will be coming in the years to come as well.
It's really exciting. I agree. I think we don't fully comprehend what's going to happen even in the next couple of years and what will be available to us. So, final question. Thank you very much for your time. So we're talking about all this incredible technology and potential, but I know that you speak very passionately about people still being at the heart of direct selling. Can you share more on that?
Yeah. Like I said, AI is there to help our IBOs. It's not there to replace our IBO. You still can't get away from, or you wouldn't want to get away from face-to-face interactions. A recommendation goes a long way. If I know one of my good friends is working with a company, selling those products, that recommendation goes a long way. And if I can work with him or her, okay, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, AI can't replace that. It can only help. Okay, it can only assist with it. It can't replace that. So the face-to-face interactions are always going to be necessary. And the good thing about our model as our industry, as we go forward, there's a lot of competition from affiliates and things like that. But ultimately, our direct sales model, we continue to pay commission on ongoing orders, where some of the affiliate, it's just a referral fee for the one. Okay, so we do have a good value, a good offering for people in our industry, and I just don't see AI replacing it. I just see it improving it and helping with it.
I agree 1,000%. It's only going to enhance our efforts, those things that already make direct selling so special, so effective. Gareth, thank you so much for being here today. Congratulations on the new addition to your family.
Oh,
hopefully at some point you'll be able to get some sleep. If you're looking for additional information about how you can leverage AI to enhance the effectiveness of your business and the businesses of your independent business owners, make sure you're at DSU Spring, March 25th through 27th in Dallas, and Gareth will be there and you get a chance to learn more. Thank you again.
No, thank you for having me on, Wayne. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Please take a moment to subscribe and give a 5-star rating and review to help Direct Approach continue to provide more candid insights and interviews for direct selling corporate executives. And don't forget to register for our upcoming spring events at dsnevents.com. Secure your spot now. Thank you for listening and supporting DSN and the Direct Approach podcast.